Hot deserts. Biodiversity. Everything is connected to everything in a hot desert ecosystem. Hot deserts are fragile and interdependent ecosystems. The biotic, also known as the living, components of hot deserts, and the abiotic, also known as the non-living components, are all closely related, and many of them depend on each other. Let's have a look at this in more detail. Plants take up nutrients from the soil and provide nutrients and water to the animals that eat them. And in turn, the animals will spread seed through their dung, which helps the plants to reproduce. The hot and dry climate affects the soil in deserts. The soils are salty. This is due to high evaporation rates and relatively low in nutrients, because there is little decomposition of dead plant material by fungi and bacteria. This means that the plants struggle to grow. The sparse vegetation limits the amount of food available, so the desert can only support low-density populations of animals and people. Changes to one component of the ecosystem in a hot desert can have a knock-on effect on the entire ecosystem. Let's have a look how. If you allow cattle to overgraze, it can cause soil erosion, and with fewer plant roots stabilizing the soil, the wind can blow fine sand particles into the atmosphere, which forms dust clouds. These reduce rainfall and makes deserts even drier, and without rainfall, the water supplies are at risk of drying up and the people, plants, and animals may die. Hot deserts have relatively low biodiversity. Small areas around temporary ponds and rives, or along the desert margins, have the highest levels of biodiversity and contain a high proportion of species that are unique to the desert. Areas with water also have the highest density of human populations. People can threaten biodiversity by increasing desertification and by overusing or contaminating the water supplies. Development around the desert margins also means that habitats are being divided up by roads. This is threatening animals that migrate over large distances to find food and water. Global warming is making hot deserts hotter and drier, and this is forcing some species to move to cooler areas. However, species that are already at the limits of their environment don't have anywhere else to go, therefore are at risk of decline or even extinction. Low biodiversity and pressure from development and climate change mean that deserts contain many biodiversity hotspots. These are places where there are a high proportion of unique species that are threatened with extinction.